Welcome to the Hero Spouse. I am Kendra Ruth, and today I'm going to answer a few of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Last week I went an hour and a half because I have a doctor appointment today, and today I have four. One is left over from last week, so if any of you want to ask questions in the comments, I will try and look up because I still did give myself an hour for today, and so we might be done early, or I will have time to answer questions as you come through in the chat. Okay. So first, let's get our business out of the way. I'm going live in 3 places. I am going live on YouTube. I'm going live in a public Facebook page, and I'm going live in a private Facebook group. It's important that you know the difference because in the private group, any comments you make, if you're in the private group, can only be seen by the private group. But if you're in the public group, comments are public, and if you have it set up that way, your friends might be notified. So you need to know that if you want to stay private, you need to be in the private group, or don't worry about it. So I'm going to go through and tell you which group you're in by posting it into the comments. I'm also watching on Facebook as one of you to make sure everything comes through. So I'm going to refresh my screen and make sure everything is working. And then I'll get the posts in the comments to Facebook private and Facebook public group. So I am going live today because today is the closing day of my Standards membership. My membership for Left Behind and Forward Moving Spouses, Stand Up and Thrive, is open for a week at a time, approximately every 8 weeks. And this is the closing day. The cart closes for the membership tonight at 9 o'clock Pacific time. So if anybody is interested, you can check out Stand Up and Thrive. That will be included, the link to that will be included in the comments. In addition, my free course, Free versus Stand Up and Thrive, which is a paid membership, my course, Understanding Midlife Crisis, will also have a link in the comments that I post in just a moment. So on the public group, it looks like I'm coming in well. Okay. And now I'm going to check my screen. It went through. Wait, I put that in the wrong group. I thought I was in the other one. Hold on. Sorry. And you are on the, I'm going to delete that. So let me go to the other group because I had it planned which one I was going to do first, and I just grabbed the wrap group. So here we go. Okay. From Buenos Aires, wow. I love how we're everywhere. Okay, now hold on. I am going to get my comment for the private group. And like I said, if you are interested, just click through the links that are in these groups if you want to join Thrive or if you want the free course, Understanding Midlife Crisis. Okay. And so I don't usually watch in YouTube, but I am trying to figure it out so that I can watch comments in all of those places. Same book script here. Yeah, it's the same everywhere. Blah. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I've got YouTube up also. Okay, and so that's now, Paula, I can see that's where you're commenting from. When I look on my screen where I'm videoing, I can't see where the comment is from. So, okay, I am going to get started. And like I said, just ask anything you need to in the question as I go. Some of these questions might actually be kind of fast. So the first, number one, we have an anonymous male left behind and forward moving spouse. This is a carryover from last week. It's the one I didn't get to. He has a bomb drop of March 18th, 2023. a date of marriage of 1999, and his wife is a high energy replayer and a boomerang. He says, my wife is a clinician in mental health. Now you say she was organically, and I wonder if you mean originally. She was originally or organically involved in an emotional affair about a month before bomb drop. From that moment, she started not taking accountability for her actions. Since bomb drop, she got more and more harder in heart, more aggressive in her language. She's a totally different person in character and actions and deeds. She used statements this year that she has never used, such as emotional whiplash and burnout. I felt the burnout was her working 80 hours a week. Yeah, I would too. Don't worry. She left in August and filed for divorce in September. The times I've spoken to her since she left has felt progressive toward I love you, but I'm not in love with you. To I'm not in love with you to be married. To I do not love you as a person. To we are not friends. She can't be in my presence in any form. The marriage has been overall terrific. She's had a childhood with many divorces. My question, do the economics of a person's education or career dictate the different odds of a comeback? And then in addition, is extreme coldness or hardness also an indicator of a comeback or not? So I have a comment I am going to post on this one. What I want you to do, and I didn't choose a specific link on this because I recommend you just Google this because there's so much information out there. So this isn't an article. I want you to look up Lisa Nowak. And here it is. So that you know who I said and remember who it is, I'm going to put this in the comments. Okay, so let me go through to each comment area. Yay, the first time I ever made a comment in the YouTube one. I know I'm a little bit behind the times. Lisa Nowak, and I put it, I meant to say she, so I'm editing it. I'm reading what I wrote here, but she was an astronaut in 2007 who in 2007 was arrested for attempted kidnapping. She drove about 900 miles to confront her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend. That's what I wrote for the comment ahead of time so it was ready. I think that ex-boyfriend was it said extramarital affair in the articles. She was married. I don't know if he was also. I think that they both divorced, but it might have been just before but they had both been married right during their relationship, or whether he was married and then they started the affair. It might have been right after. But it was the bigger part of the salaciousness of the story was how she was stalking the new girlfriend of the boyfriend. She was an astronaut. So I don't know if you get much higher status than astronauts. And so, yeah, you can, I'm not saying she was in a midlife crisis. I'm saying that crazy and the insane behavior that might go with it, and she may have been very well in a midlife crisis, runs across all classes. It doesn't matter. So does it matter? Does it make a difference on whether she comes back? So you say, does it dictate different odds of a comeback? I don't know that it does. I don't know that does. I mean, some would say, well, hey, the person who is lower status might be more needy, and so there's more of a financial benefit to reconciliation. So the person who has a higher status is more independent. But I don't know that it works out that way. And hopefully a reconciliation isn't based on need, it's based on two mature people returning to each other. Now, in the early days, MLCers do return broken, but as you work together, the whole goal is that you become two mature people, rather than hopefully one already mature person and one who is lagging behind, but they catch up. So the next question you had was, is extreme coldness or hardness also an indicator of a comeback or not? Not in the way you're asking. We don't have statistics, and so I would say if you are less cold, you probably have better odds. If you are more open, if you are more connected. So I'm going to use that keyword connected though. Clinging boomerangs, or just using the modifier clinging and an off and on. We don't see a lot of clinging off and ons, and I think it would just be crazy to say clinging vanisher. But clinging off and on is somebody who is showing an emotional connection, and they show it during the periods where they are on rather than off. Off and ons don't contact frequently, whereas boomerangs do. But we are not basing off and on, whether they're a vanisher or a boomerang, on why they are contacting you. We're basing it on purely on frequency of contact, because frequency of contact is greater frequency of opportunities. Opportunities for communication, opportunities to connect, opportunities for them to see your changes, for you to see how they're doing. It's opportunities for influence. Remember, people say we can't change a person, but we can sure influence them to change, can't we? We can sure show examples of how we're doing and make them curious. And that doesn't mean they will be or won't be curious, but we can do that. So extreme coldness is a clinging. Those who have a better odds are those who are clinging, especially the clinging boomerangs, because they have the frequency of communication, as well as clinging as a modifier I use to really talk about emotional connectedness. They don't want to be away from you sometimes. They have mixed messages. And sometimes the way they cling is through monstering and just keeping you as their narcissistic supply. So I would say that there is a greater chance. But I wouldn't say that it's an indicator that they will or won't. First thing, sorry, but being in a midlife crisis is an indicator that they're not coming back. Because the odds are against clinging ones, those who aren't clinging. The odds are against every single one of you that are out there. I told myself that I was going to be the one in a million. If the chances were 1 in a million, I was going to win the lottery, and I was going to be it. Now, I did not necessarily control his side of it, but I was going to keep my faith. And it wasn't so hard to keep my faith because the actions that came from him validated it. You could tell from his. He was a clinging boomerang. So that helped to strengthen it. Had I seen different actions from him, that could have changed it, definitely. So what I want you to do is, instead of worrying, and I don't know that you're worrying, about the different odds and about her extreme coldness and hardness, her hardening of her heart, and how she's just put a wall up. Work on your healing. Put your marriage in a box up there. Because what that means, if you're standing, is you are not going to allow her to ruin the marriage. Now, you can someday choose to not reconcile and not go back into that. But you're not going to let her ruin it for you, because you're protecting it from this person that she is now. Because the person that she is now may very well want to attack that marriage. Just sometimes they want to do that just so that you stop having hope, because it's a lot easier for them. It drags them down because of the guilt. That's not your fault. There's healthy guilt and there's toxic guilt. And if the guilt comes from them, and it's from something they're doing, and it's destructive, that's not bad. They have a conscience. What I want you to do, though, is when you do have communication and you say she's a boomerang, you just be grace, have everything rooted in empathy. Even when you're being yelled at, yes, you set up a boundary. Yes, you protect your children, but you do it from a place of calm. Some people think that if you make yourself big and puffy, that's strength. That's weakness, because it means you're afraid, and it means you have to give this false bravado to show strength and to scare them away from discovering that it's false. Calm. Calm is regulated emotions. Calm is, I'm not going to judge. I recognize that this person whom I love, is in crisis. It is confused. Blah, blah, blah. All of those things. She has had a traumatic background. Child with many divorces. Not just one. Many. So to me, that I'm assuming that mom, dad are both married a few times while she was a child, and so she may have had a few series of step parents and a few series of step children. And if you start to hear a window knocking, my little one Elijah is outside crying. So I am going to end this one because I think I've answered it. I'm going to open the door. I will be back in a minute. Okay. But I'm going to get him because he's crying and I don't know where dad's at. He's homesick. Where's daddy? He's what? Where's daddy? Come here, honey. Do you want to go see daddy or do you want to sit down and play with the toys? Okay, hold on. This is Gift Central. Now, there are some Christmas toys for Sissy back here that you don't want to tell her about. Can you go play with the toys that are in this box up here? Your toys are hidden somewhere else. Because if you can't play quietly, mommy has to take you out.
What does it?
Oh no! Then if you want to do that, then mom has to take you out. But do you want to play with your motorcycle Legos? Here. There's your Legos. Because if you can't play nicely, mommy has to take you out.
Mommy.
Yeah.
Why? Who is that?
Well, mommy is talking to people. Okay.
Who you buy that?
That's for Sissy, but you can't tell her.
No, why?
So, okay. So, are you going to be able to play? You can come say hello.
I want mine.
You say hi, okay? And then we tried this once a few years ago. He climbed the walls behind us. So we'll try it again. Okay. Okay, mommy has to talk, okay? Okay, I'm going to go on to number 2 and we'll see how this works. Number 2, we have Amelia. Amelia is a female left behind and forward-moving spouse with a bomb drop of April 16th, 2023.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah, hey. Here,
Oh,
gummy bears.
what is that?
You take that one. That's a gummy bear. Okay? I said it. April 16th, 2023, a date of marriage of 2004. She has an off and on who is a high energy replayer. Okay. Elijah, can you go sit over there where I put the toys for you? I put the toys in your Lego box over there. Okay, honey?
Daddy and me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or me.
She says, we are currently going through a divorce. What is the chance for him to come back to me if we have to fight badly for a divorce court? We've been married 21 years. The alienator is an ex-fiance from 25 years ago. He's monstering financially. He lies, removed me from the deed of the house in 2020. Now note, bomb drop was 2023. In 2020, while I didn't know, and multiple credit card debt. So I'm sure he was in midlife crisis in 2020 since I was going through cancer treatment in 2019. That can be a trigger also. Your cancer can be a trigger. He started cheating in December of 2022 when he moved to a different state for job training. So he wasn't leaving, there was a job. Not you, you're a sweetheart.
Who?
You are a sweetheart, right?
No, who on
Oh, somebody else.
Taken?
Since then, he's been living separately, and he's come home twice for a short time. We have 2 teenage daughters, and they're both aware of what he did, and he doesn't like it, and he blames me for everything. I'm not sure if fighting in court will be a push.
I want to juice it.
Okay. But you have to eat your gummies first, okay?
Okay, I swallow.
So, first thing, I have a few things. That idea of no push behaviors, it's a very good idea. But what I think about when I think about no push behaviors, I think Dad's outside looking for you. I just saw him out there. He's looking for you. Hold on, I'm going to go tell Dad where he's at. Okay. I might have to start over with this question. Come here. Come here. Dad's looking for you. Okay? He's going to be worried where you are. So you... Oh, no. Oh, here. He's in here. Okay, but he's in here right now. Dad is not happy with you. You sit with Mom for a while.
Stop being mean on me. I hate him.
That's not very nice. Mommy loves Dad and loves you.
Sour.
Sour.
No.
Okay. Sorry. Where were we? Okay. You're asking first if divorce court will be a push. When we talk about no push behaviors and no
that's mine.
pressure, not right now.
That's Baby Yoda.
When we talk about no pressure, we're talking really, at least I am, when I mention, oh, be careful, don't pressure your spouse. Relationship talk, relationship communications, too many questions. Going to divorce court and...
who is this?
Oh, dear. I don't know what his name is.
Mine. It's my present.
Hey.
I know it.
So, aren't you supposed to be back there playing with your Legos? Because I'm going to have to take you out.
Baby Yoda.
If you can't go over there, you
Mommy,
can take
I'm not taste one.
You have one in your face. It's a sour one.
I hate sour now. Someone make me sour.
ADHD. Okay. Just saying. Okay, so we're talking about push behaviors. Push behaviors are when you are trying to communicate with him, when you're trying to have relationship talks.
Mommy,
Why are you doing this?
Mommy, I want.
When are you coming home?
Mommy,
that sort of thing.
I want to name my dinosaur Gummy.
Gummy. Well, that is a good
Gummy
name for a
bear.
dinosaur. Okay.
Gummy bear.
I'm concerned. You have 2 teenage daughters. They're aware of what he did. Are they aware of what he did because they were present for it? Or are they aware of that he did because they are seeing it in you, and how much information are you giving them? It's not bad or good. What I'm looking at is, are you giving too much information that they can't handle, or that is not age appropriate for them? Well, is that okay? Take it over there to play with it. You can do the popping. Go pop it.
Mine. There's one mine.
Okay, take it over there. And like I said, cancer treatment, you're a fear that you will no longer be there can trigger a fear of abandonment. And people who have a fear of abandonment, abandon. What I don't want you to worry about is I don't want you to worry about the divorce court option that you have to do. The pieces that you have to do to protect yourself. And what you do, you know what you do? You blame your lawyer. I'm really sorry. This is how it works.
Mommy.
And my lawyer made that decision. My lawyer is there to protect me, and I am going to follow my lawyer's advice. That's a bunch of bull. No, I know you told you to do that. Sorry you feel that way.
How do you change
You don't engage in the arguing.
it?
Because there is going to be these push things that are kind of outside of your control.
Mommy, I found it.
You need to imagine what you will get
Mommy,
or
I
won't get
found my
if you don't do those push behaviors. If you don't try and
Mommy.
get what you are entitled to,
Mommy, I found
or
my.
get the protections for your children.
Mommy, I found my other present.
You found another present?
It's
I bet you
mine. Pika.
Okay.
Pika too.
I don't know. I think that must be for somebody else.
Me.
I don't know. Other people like Pikachu.
Mine.
Everybody else, you know, that could be somebody else's.
Mine. My present.
So going through this, you go into court and practice beforehand. Practice. You go into court with confidence. Do not let him bully you. If he thinks that if you're afraid this is a push and that he is going to tell you it is. He might not know the terminology. But if you hadn't done this, I would have changed my mind or done all these other things. Okay, we're now in a cabinet that has other things. Okay, if you get it, no, you cannot be in this room anymore. You guys can hear me from behind the computer. I'll be back in a minute. Eli, no, this is Mom's. No. Sorry, that was an adventure in disaster. He got into the other people's gifts and found his Pikachu. Okay, so we're talking about going to court. I just want you to go in with confidence. Do not let him bully you. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll say, if you hadn't acted that way, they do this later, they'll do it at that time. I would be different. I would have let it go. Chuck kept telling me, well, I would have come home if you'd done this. I did that, and I did that, and I did that. He said if I'd done certain things that I had done, he would have come home. I mean, he did come home. Yeah, it's never done all right. So Eli is homesick today. Dad actually left work to come home early, planned in the middle of the night when Eli got sick that he would be here, but Eli escaped. So, okay, we're going to go on to number 3. We have 2 more. So, number 3 is a female left behind and forward moving spouse with a bomb drop of April 23, 2023. Oh, they're very close. The dates are almost the same. Date of marriage of 2008 with a boomerang who is a high energy player. She says, my MLC are filed. I got papers. I gave everything to my attorney not to be dragged into this myself. The attorneys say, looking at his demands, it looks like he made a filing to have me in court rather than get divorced. So there's more to this, but that sounds like you are his narcissistic supply and he just wants to keep it going and keep it going and keep it going, keep poking. Which is interesting. I don't usually see attorneys having that insight. I want the divorce myself now. I just don't want to make work for him. I do wonder why you don't want to make work for him. Not that that's bad or good. What I feel is if you want the divorce, then do the work for it. But don't do his work for him. Okay? And don't feel badly that he has to do things. He filed for divorce. He left you. Now, I want to be snarky and say he made his bed, let's lie in it. But it's you want this divorce, because you filed, even though the filing looks like he's just trying to drag you through the mud or drag it around. That means there are certain things you need to do, meaning him. And I don't want you to do those for him, unless you have to do them because you want it so much. But what are you enabling in that? So she goes on to say, and I feel guilty for wanting that. In other words, I want the divorce, and I don't want to make work for him. And I feel guilty for wanting that. I feel guilty for taking my maiden name back, and I feel guilty because I'm not standing. When I read that part, I just went, that part's heartbreaking too, because I don't want you to feel guilty. That first thing, you know what? I didn't take my maiden name back initially, but I considered it. My mom took hers back, and I was raised in my mom's family, so with my dad's name, and all the cousins and grandma who was well known in the town had the name, and I was the one who didn't. But I will tell you, the first week after Chuck left, before I discovered standing, and that just because somebody wants out doesn't mean that actually takes, and you don't even have to fully get divorced to get reconciled. You just get back together. I started using my maiden name immediately. I mean, within a week, I had a meeting with, I think it was a career counselor, and I used my maiden name. I have felt, I'll say bad instead of guilty. It wasn't quite at that level because it was just a twinge. A week later or so, when I discovered standing and read about it and read about midlife crisis, like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. But yeah, it's okay. Take back your name. It's okay. That's who you are. And not all of us want to stand. Not all of us can handle standing. And let's say you don't want to stand. You don't want to put up with the standing part, but you want the reconciliation part. So in some ways, it's giving up, giving in, letting go. You can put your spouse, you can still say, well, maybe someday in 10 years, we'll be back. Hey, you're just not having that as your plan. You're just having that as a side possibility. I call it the other fish in the sea route. someday, maybe, when you're both healed, it'll happen. And maybe you'll make it happen, maybe it won't. You'll just meet up. Weddings and funerals, or you just see each other in the grocery store and you catch up. But the act of standing, for some, it holds you back. For others, it doesn't do that. And it's okay. For others, what I recommend when it comes to standing is I recommend people choose to stand for a grace period, minimum. After that, you choose to stand because you want to be a stander. In the beginning, the grace period is, I am devastated. I've had a shock, and I am not in a place where I can make a life-changing choice. And so I'm going to put that choice on hold. So that's the grace periods, until I am at a better place where I can make those life-changing decisions. Even when those life-changing decisions have been impressed upon me and made for me on the other side, I want my choice in it. And yes, he's at the window again. Well, we had a little bit of a reprieve. She goes on to say, my MLCer has an alienator who's almost half his age, and he's moving 5 hours away. I know info only via our daughters who are 11 and 14. They're hurting, watching their immature father vanishing, and I feel helpless because I can't do anything about it. I'm just trying to be there for them and live my life, and that's what you've got to do. Focus on your daughters. Be their protector, be their mama bear, but also be a co-parent. Encourage him to continue to be there for them. Insist he be there for them. Don't let them see that part of you. Don't let them see the conflict that might come from that if he is not doing his parenting part. And accept that even so, you're a single parent now. Sucks, yes, but you are a single parent, and you need to be the safe and stable place for them. They need consistency, and there's going to be inconsistency on one side of it, so they need somewhere where it's still consistent. And that means that you put the oxygen mask on so that you can help them, and you get into therapy, get them into therapy, and you just push through each day. And you're going to have days where you feel helpless because you don't get to control him. But you know what? You say you can't do anything about it, but there are things you can do things about. You control your response. You control how you handle the situation. And in that, you're teaching your daughters how to handle the situation as well. And that's where you're going to shine. And that's where they're going to learn how to survive and eventually how to thrive. They're going to learn they don't have to put up with everything, but they're also going to learn how we come through things and how sometimes we heal from things without having to give them up. How to build relationships rather than tear them down. And that sometimes, even when we're working on building, the other person isn't going to be there for that building. And eventually, I don't go for the standing, we save our marriage alone. That's not how it is. It's we preserve our marriage in this box. That's lonely. But when it's time for reconciliation, it is an effort on both of you. We save it together. If you don't have somebody who's going to do that, and I don't know if you will someday, but you don't have to wait for that. You don't have to want it. What you need to do, what I hope I can say you have to do, you need to heal. And so that you can be there for your daughters, so that you're no longer feeling helpless, because there are so many things that you can be a leader on and you can be a guide on. And so take back that power for you. And not standing might be how you take that back that power. It's okay not to stand. It's okay to stand. It's okay not to. It's all about choice. Even when you would still rather be married to him, but given the circumstances, like, yeah, I'm not going to wait around. I'm not going to hope. I don't think I'll ever be able to build that trust again, or I don't think the person will ever be trustworthy again. I just wish it hadn't happened. I wish the person remained that person that they were, and maybe it's not going to happen. Okay? I want you to feel better about the choices you're making. Okay. While he's banging, we have one more. It's short. Okay. This is number 4. This is Robert. Robert has a bomb drop of February 1st, 2020, a date of marriage of 1997. He has a clinging boomerang who is a high energy replayer. He says, does their cycling to multiple alienators, even after the original alienator relationship dies out, does that represent they're stuck and their unhealed issues were not sealed with the first alienator? And this is interesting because without me bringing this up, we had this discussion today in our detachment discussion on Thrive, and this was perfect for it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have an article that it doesn't deal with all of this, but the article is called MLCers Run When the Alienator is Gone. So I'm going to put the link to that article. Now you can probably hear him screaming, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." Fortunately, it's not snowing out. Okay, hold on. So I want you to get over the concept that the purpose of, that there is a positive purpose that the alienator is serving, and that their purpose is to come in there and heal their wounds, and that they can't do it without that psychological counterpart. Because as Tessa said in Thrive Today, they're just an escape and an avoidance. The alienator is an excuse and it's an escape and avoid, not a healing tool. They are a symptom. And so does the cycling mean that the alienator didn't seal them? The cycling means they're not through it, and that their holes, their developmental gaps are not healed. But it's not the fault of the alienator. And I don't know if it's that you're saying it that way. They're still trying to find, and they're still looking in an escapist way. It's kind of like, I can see how somebody would say, hey, we have heard that the affair partner represents the parent, often the opposite sex parent, or the parent with whom they had the most issues, and they are there to fill those holes. Now, but if the affair partner is a limerent addiction, now take out the limerent and just put the word addiction, and let's say, do we say the same thing about whiskey? Not my dog whiskey, but whiskey, or bourbon, or rum? Do we say, well, they need to get through that. That bourbon is healing their holes. Or the fentanyl is healing their holes. The cocaine is healing their holes. The addiction is an avoidance from the holes. It is a way to avoid, and it makes them bigger. So the affair is how they're escaping them. Okay, I said I was going to click this link, and I'm so busy talking and listening to him out there that I haven't gotten through to it. So hold on, let me go into here. Okay, that one. So this is a link to the article, The Alienators, MLCs Run Even When the Alienator is Gone. Because it doesn't mean they've burned through their midlife crisis. Remember, that's a symptom. The alienator's purpose is not there to help them succeed and thrive. So I think she's just not done. I know that it's been 3 years, almost 4 years. You're coming upon 4 years, and you're like, well, I thought after the alienator is gone, that would solve it. Which is why I wrote that article, when somebody was very confused. Why? Well, the alienator's gone. Why aren't they coming home now? It doesn't solve it. They have to be ready. The same as goes with, will a crisis bring them out of a midlife crisis? I get asked that one a lot, and no, it won't, unless they are sitting at the exit ready to go, because they can sit at the exit of MLC, that tunnel, for years, or not. But a crisis is never going to bring them out of it. I mean, a crisis put them in it, unless they have gone through, filled up the holes, and they're ready. Same thing. The ending of an affair doesn't solve the problem. They just keep going and going and trying. They're trying to fill their holes with things that are just addictions. Okay? Okay. I think that answers the questions. It looks like I haven't had any more other than saying hi to Eli Jetta, because he is adorable, even though he's outside screaming for mommy, so I'm going to go get him in a moment. Just checking to make sure there aren't any more comments that I'm missing. And remember that Thrive closes tonight at 9 o'clock Pacific. That is in 8 hours and 20 minutes. So you can join up. You can pay monthly, and it's $35 a month, or you can buy an annual subscription for $347. And otherwise, just sign up for Understanding Midlife Crisis. If you do that, you'll get on my email list, and that is a 2-hour, I believe it's approximately 2 hours. It's 3 modules. And it is just to give you an introduction to MLC. All of the basic questions that you're asking me all the time, I try and put them in there so that everyone can just kind of get a little bit of peace from those whys, because I try and answer as many as I can. Okay? And from here on out, I will be doing pre-recorded Q&A questions instead of my Facebook Lives. I do Facebook Lives at the start of launch and the close of launch. So for about 7 to 8 weeks now, we will go back to just keep submitting your questions to me, and I answer 3 a week. And I will see you as I answer the questions in the recordings. Bye-bye.